Well, hello everyone. Welcome to this module. We are on one of my favorite topics. Lori knows this. Why do I love Trello? I love Trello. You guys know one of my phrases is that it adds time back in your day. And come on. Organization plus your action list plus communication to your team, because you can share these different boards with your team and make them visible, and it's just like all the information in one place. And Lori, you know this, how important is it for companies to have information at their fingertips?
So important. Trello is such a big part of that I feel like we don't even say hello anymore when we answer the phone. We say Trello.
Trello.
It is your main hub of information, and being able to just quickly go saves so much time than searching all these different areas you may have had to search before.
Absolutely. I think that it has been a game changer, and I'm always looking for the latest technology. Shout out to Barbara, shout out to Linda Borghi on our board of advisors who have been using Trello, and I'm like, I looked at it. It's like, okay, but I really didn't get it. And I think once we go through this demonstration with you, it's going to really not only, yes, you could watch this a YouTube video, which is what I did, like how to use Trello. But the problem is it's not industry specific. So what we've done is we have created these modules for you so that you can actually see us using things. Many of our topics are general topics, but we're showing you how we're using them within our industry. And yes, can you adapt and implement this? Maybe you own a real estate business, or you own an attorney, your husband's an attorney, or your wife is, is another small business owner. You can use these principles and adapt them. But when we can go into, specifically how our staging companies and how our design companies are using these boards that are speaking our language, it's really powerful. So I'm excited. I finally got on the bandwagon after a year about hearing. And what prompted me to do this, Lori, was we come out of our end of year strategy, and we've got all of these big ideas. You know me, I'm like shiny object, and we've got probably 30 projects open at one time. That's nothing new, and everything's due and a priority now. It's hard to keep up with that. And so I was like, we need a tool that's going to help, that's third grade simple. If you can learn how to use it in 30 minutes, that's a win, right? Because you're having to teach your team to do this. And it also has an app, which allows you to access it, whenever you need to. I was on the plane last night on my Trello boards, and I didn't even have access to the internet, but as soon as we got in range for access, it automatically uploaded. I didn't have to, go back and save it. It was like real-time data. It's in the cloud, just like if you were working on your drive boards or whatever there. So the benefits of Trello. Benefits are going to be, number one, it's free. Can you say, right? We want some free in our lives. And it's hard to, that if it's too good to be true, it seldom is. That is not the case when it comes to Trello. It is an incredible tool. And after I'd spent about 10 to 12 hours of researching what is a productivity tool that we can implement in our businesses, everything from, $99 plus $30 a month per user, that's a lot of money that's going to add up real quickly. So the fact that this was free, the fact that, I would be paying for this, that's how much we love it, is we would definitely invest in it, but we don't have to. We're still in the free version, and it does everything that we need. So I love it. Laura, you ready to jump into this?
Oh, yes.
All right. So tell me while I pull it up and share screen here, what do you love about Trello?
I think there's something satisfying by moving your Trello board to done. I love being able to check something off and moving that over, but it also, when you are working throughout your day and as fast paced as I feel like HSRA is, with the many hats that we wear every day, find that using the Trello board, when I'm done with one task, if there's anything else or I have a little extra time, I can go and say, okay, what other things, because we have so many different boards, I can say, oh, I can take this off this board and get this done quickly. And so I love being able to just go and track things, the extra, you know, little things that you can get done where you may not have thought that if you didn't have some type of scorecard or something, you know, on a regular that you were doing.
Yeah, so good. You're absolutely right. And you know, we've tried so many things to keep us where all of our things that are in one place, and it's really hard to do. We also use Google Drive, and so we're uploading documents, and you know, then we have our Infusionsoft, so all of our customer relations management is in that, and then we're also using Workplace, not Google, but Facebook Workplace as more of that real-time communication, and it's almost like feeds on your communication, right? So you can find some data, go there and search any questions or any content that we put up. But if it needs meat, if it has maybe something that is more of a process, creating a Trello board for it has been ideal for us. So I pulled up here Trello, and of course Trello is Trello, and it is something that's just going to start as a clean slate, and think of it as a whiteboard. Of course, this isn't white. I tried to create a white color, but we're just going to say it's blue. It's a blue board, and it allows you to create anything that you need to keep track of. And I'm going to show you some existing Trello boards that we've created to give you a little bit of context to this. But everybody's going to start out with a blank one, and the way that you do that is you go to boards and you go all the way down to the bottom. Well, it's probably right there, but if I were to open up all the boards that we have created, and you say create new board, that's going to be where you are. That pops up. It's going to make you name your board. So I've named ours just test right now, and you can pick a color, and I'll go through that here in a moment as well. But as your board is blank, it's sky's the limit. So Lori, give me something that you would want to maybe track that's either a project or something fun. What do you think?
Well, I think one of our biggest things that we track is our monthly publication.
That's good. So if this was monthly publication, I would say here, and you know what? We probably need a board that is monthly publication. Because you guys know, as HSRA members, you're getting this beautiful magazine. I'd go pull one for you, and it's like a finished product. Well, some companies do those once a year. You know, outside of our industry, we're doing these once a month. It's literally like an editorial, and we take it very, very seriously. And so that's going to be the name of my board, is because we've got a lot of internal things that need to happen for a completed final product. So Lori, give me an idea, now that we've named this board, what would be a list, a name of the list that we're going to put specific things, or maybe it's a certain time, like before these things need to happen before we actually start creating it. I mean, what would you want this high level to be?
First, we need images.
Okay, so we're going to now, these are going to be the image list, because at first you can see we're creating, we're adding a list, and think of this as the column, and then in that list we're going to create a card. So first off, Lori needs to source her images. So maybe she needs an image of what?
Well, we always want just different royalty-free images that are beautiful, crisp, and clear. So one of the main things is I need to curate the whole magazine. So all of the images mirror each other. So I think the most important thing is finding what your cover is and then going through the whole theme of the magazine.
That's great. So I'm going to put here cover, right? Because every publication needs its images, and maybe like 20 different images. So this is where we're going to list the high-level images that we need. So maybe it is the cover, and she's going to do, you might have an idea of, a sitting area, right? So you have that high-level idea. And so now you might need a next image of like the calendar or something, right? So so that would be my next card that I create. But let me show you this. Inside this cover image that she's needing, I can click on that and open it up. And now I'm going to give a description. Maybe this is where she's putting she found the image, and you're adding the link of Unsplash of your beautiful sitting area, and you're putting that link straight to that image here, or you are attaching that image from Dropbox or Google Drive, you know, right there. So then when you attach the image, it's actually going to show up, you know, within that. So let me, let's just for funsies, we'll attach an image from, let's see, trying to see what we have done a screenshot of. Dun, da, da, who knows? Oh, it was a beautiful door that I put on our member page. So pretend that's a beautiful sitting area, and then I'm going to go out of it. You can see here it's literally created the image. So when I need it, or Jill needs it, or anyone needs it to what they need to do, they go there. They can grab that image, see where it's located, and then if Jill has to do with finding, say, Lori needs Jill to find that image or use that image, and she wants to notify Jill that it's up there, then she can, and it's probably because I did not add her to this Trello board, which we'll talk about here in a second. But so let's say that, you know, I don't want to notify anybody, but I added myself there. So you can see that Jana has now a member here. Maybe I have a checklist that I need to create to find this image. And so maybe you can get down to search, right? Unsplash. It's like how technical do you want to get? But now I can, you know, create a checklist as well. So these are all the fun things that you can do inside a card. So maybe it's sourcing the images, and then once it's done, we might create one that says completed. And we might see, let's see, in process. I'm going to do these out of order so that you can see what can happen here. And we can say, you know, this is, we're trying to think, oh, reviewed. Okay, so these are the stages that everything's going to go in. And so maybe this is a title. This really helps you out. That this is maybe to do is the big title. And then right here is, you know, the images. So there's so many different ways that you can do this. It just, you kind of have to get into it and say, what makes the most sense for me, that I can then, it's to do, I've found it. Well, I'm going to move these over. So I'm literally just dragging these over, and it allows me to pick something up and just move it. And that's what you were talking about, Laura, that you love. So say we've done this to do and it's completed, we can move it here. So the idea is to create that publication. We've all started with our to-do list, and now we can move it over if it's in process and we're working it, and then we move it over when it's completed, and then we've got a final review. So that's in the review phase, and then we're done, right? And so that's the beauty of being able to create kind of like a pipeline or a time zone process, to where you're literally just moving the ball down the field until it gets to that completed phase and the final, you know, to printer. So we could say sent to print, right? And that could be it. So just keep in mind, you can open these up and you can just continue to add comment. If it's a big, maybe a big task that has several different layers, you can click that you want to watch it. Say that we didn't need this anymore, we can archive this. And archiving it is just like kind of putting it into a trash And then if you need to go back to it, you can. And sometimes it'll give you the option, well, you've archived it. Do you also want to delete it? And if you don't ever need to access this, that's like, you know, emptying your trash, so to speak. So I'm going to show you, Lori, why don't you, I'm going to pull up your board, and why don't you kind of walk us through how you have used it to make sense with all the things that you have going on.
Yeah, so you're going to scare them by showing them my board, because
First, I love your palm trees, and we'll talk about how you can customize it here in a moment.
So it is a little bit overwhelming at first, but not everybody's board's going to look like this. I have a lot always going on. And so the first board is just like my regular to-dos. Like this is everything like it's on a regular basis. Those are just things that need to get done that aren't necessarily like this second. The next one, the dream developer, those are more my you know, this is what I do on a regular basis. I go into Facebook, I'm commenting on stuff, I'm doing reach outs on Instagram. And then I have my main to do. So these are like every task that I've been given from anybody in our company, like I need this or I need that. And then the next one is the doing. Those are the things I'm currently working on. And then the things I'm actually doing, like I've done today. And so that way I can just move things over. And that's my favorite, is when they're done. There's one other board beside it. I think the picture's in the way. Oh, the complete board. Yes, that's my favorite board, is getting that stuff done. And then so just working across it, I guess you could say. But there is like a lot of stuff, but I feel like just going through and being able to move that stuff. So I already know, like every day I can go in there and scan through and move over.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if she needed to add an action list today, like today, you know, we are doing the module, right? So we're shooting the Trello module. And so now when that's finished, she can just complete, and she literally can see, oh man, I got some great projects done today. Or maybe it's I was working on some big projects and they didn't necessarily get finished, but they're still in my doing phase, and I'm going to, you know, move those over. So it literally is picking up and moving over. And your, of course, idea is to always clear out, it's like your inbox, right? These are our actions, these are our inbox, this is working. And for us, what we created in our staging industry and just as a small business, we want to know what is directly related to revenue and what is a priority. Because if everything is on our list, but we have no priorities, are we just busy doing the wrong thing? So sometimes when other people, maybe we've got a deadline or a project due, you put a 1 if it needs to be done, you know, very, very quickly. If it is, oh, it can wait a little bit, maybe a week out, a 2, or it's a little longer and we've already done the 1s and the 2s. Now we can move to the priority 3s. And then you can see the signs here as far as the dollar signs. If it is a $3 sign, that means it's directly related to revenue. It's direct revenue in the door. Once that task gets complete, you know, it's going to bring in revenue. And maybe a 2 is indirect revenue, and a $1 sign is not really related to revenue, you know, to a high level. And it just allows you to now prioritize your action list if you want to use that same model. And you mentioned, Laura, your repeats here. So we just do a capital R : and that means it's a repeat task. It's not just a one-off, a one and done. So if I take this and say I've done this today, well, at the end of the next morning, especially if you're working on team, you can see, we all can see each other's. Maybe people want to look through, okay, what got complete today? Especially if it's a boss and you're, as a boss, you want to see what your teammates are doing. Maybe you're out in the field, or you're working remotely, you're on vacation. This allows you to know, okay, what projects are being handled and what is complete, instead of having to send an email and say, hey, did you get this complete? It's just on the Trello board, and it's less communication that you have to do and less reach outs, because we always have these open folders in our minds of, oh, I wonder if that got done. And so sometimes just opening up a teammate's completed board and seeing that is great. Yeah, so it's all about saving us time. We don't want to duplicate a lot of efforts, and that was something I hate to introduce a new project or product or tool that is going to slow us down if it's not going to make it faster. So I would ask, each business owner, where are your lost communication in process and translation? Like, where are those pieces of information that you're looking for that's taking you,
We hope you've enjoyed this featured module. To gain access to the full resource and over 150 modules just like this, click the link below.